A heart-wrenching miracle during the cleaning of the Zamzam well. During the cleaning of the Zamzam well, a heart-wrenching miracle appeared. To witness this, Muhammad bin Sulaiman also arrived. Allahu Akbar. Peace be upon you, friends. Another miracle has occurred near Zamzam, attracting people from distant areas who came in large numbers to witness it. People couldn't believe their eyes upon seeing the miracle. They would close and reopen their eyes repeatedly, looking at the Zamzam and then at the person loudly affirming the event. It was hard for them to accept. Without further delay, let's start recounting the incident. But before that, if you are new to our channel, please subscribe and click the notification bell so that you receive updates on all our videos. Friends, this miracle happened in the Kaaba before the arrival of Hajj. A man was standing near the Zamzam well, waiting for his turn to be given Zamzam water by the attendants. As the water reached him, he screamed and moved away. It was by God's grace that another person standing nearby caught the glass of Zamzam from his hand, preventing it from spilling onto the floor. Everyone was astonished, watching this man flee from the water as if he had seen some otherworldly creature, something strange and unexpected. He ran away in fear, screaming, crying, and repeatedly saying, "Keep the Zamzam away from me, keep it away." While sobbing, he uttered these words until he suddenly fainted. Those engaged in their worship turned towards the noise with amazement, wondering what had startled this man. The attendants quickly reached him and began to move him away. He regained some consciousness. An Islamic scholar present there, observing the whole scene, suggested that Zamzam be applied to his lips, thinking it might heal him from some illness. When they tried to apply the water to his lips again, he recoiled in terror, knocking the glass away, saying, "No, I won't drink this Zamzam. This isn't Zamzam. It's some other water." His strange words enraged the onlookers, and some began to rebuke him, questioning how he could speak like this about such a sacred and healing water. But the scholar immediately silenced them, saying that it is ignorance to accuse anyone without confirmation. The scholar sat down with the man and questioned him, asking how he could deny that this was Zamzam. Millions of pilgrims recognize this water as sacred and take it back to their countries. How could he say otherwise? The man, trembling, began to cry. Through his tears he said, "How can I believe this is Zamzam? When I stepped here, it felt like there were fierce winds in my ears. It seemed like there was a tremendous noise. Although I saw the faces of the people, they were all calm, talking softly with each other. Everyone was looking at the Zamzam well and was blessed by its sight. But as soon as I looked closer, I began to see strange and bizarre creatures emerging from the well, advancing towards me. These creatures live in the water. How can I believe this is Zamzam?" His words angered many there, and their faces showed their frustration. It was only because of the sanctity of the place that they controlled themselves. Elsewhere, this man might have been punished severely. The scholar, in an intense tone, asked if he was aware of the seriousness of his words. He inquired if the man used any intoxicants or substances, causing him to speak nonsensically. The man quickly shook his head in denial. Every time they brought Zamzam water near him, he pushed it away, claiming to see the same strange creatures in it and refusing to drink it. Eventually, Muhammad bin Sulaiman, who had come to perform the tawaf of the Kaaba, also approached. When he heard about the incident, he went to the well himself, peering inside. Everything seemed as it should. Everyone present continued their prayers and recitations. The scholar recited prayers over the man, asking him if he had committed a sin that had brought upon him a divine punishment, preventing him from drinking the Zamzam despite being so close. At this, the man broke down in tears, admitting that he had indeed committed a grave sin in his life but had since repented. He didn't realize his Lord was still displeased with him. He revealed his past, saying he had been a ruthless and heartless man who neglected his parents' rights and treated his wife poorly after marriage. He lived a life of freedom and excess, neglecting his duties even after becoming a father. Despite his son's birth, he did not change. His wife's health deteriorated after childbirth, and the doctor warned that she needed treatment, or her life would be at risk. He ignored the warning, leaving his child crying from hunger while spending money on his own pleasures. One day, his sick wife passed away while he was out of the house. She had called him repeatedly, but he ignored her calls and stayed away for 24 hours. When he returned, his wife had been dead for many hours, and his son was lying face down on the floor. They both died due to his neglect. Even when burying his wife, he noticed slight movements in his son's shroud. It seemed the child had fainted from hunger and weakness, but he chose to bury the child with the mother, thinking of the burden of responsibility and expenses he would have to bear. The man's account left many weeping. He continued, saying he had repented to his Lord for his sins. It was his son's memory that brought him back to the right path, but his guilt never faded. He had hoped that performing Umrah would bring him God's forgiveness. But now, standing near Zamzam, he was unable to drink the water as he kept seeing strange creatures within it. The scholar, with tears in his eyes, stood up, telling him that he was cursed by his child's plea. The man's wrongdoing towards his son and wife was the reason he couldn't drink even 2 drops of Zamzam. Perhaps this punishment would last until the day of judgment, and only if his child and the Lord forgave him would he find peace. The man stayed in the Kaaba for many days, seen by attendants who observed him spending day and night there, crying and seeking forgiveness, but he remained haunted by the sound of his child's cries. In the end, he left, unable to bear the weight of his sins. God forgives his own rights, but he doesn't forgive the injustices done to his servants until they forgive them themselves. True justice, perhaps, awaited him only on the day of reckoning.